So hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. We were just buying some time for a few people to join in. Please confirm that you can hear me before I proceed. Great, thank you, Marianne. So my name is Melanie Hapisu. I know I've met some people from the group and I'm hoping for more people to join at some point since we had quite a bit of people interested. I am the founder and CEO of an agency called Digipack Africa, where we help brands to generate leads from their online ads. So basically paid ads is what we do. It's an honor to be here today. I've been looking forward to giving this masterclass. So when Wild reached out, it was an honor to be part of this. So what we'll be talking about today is how you can leverage LinkedIn to build your personal brand as a business owner. So we'll be looking at it more of, it's not just about having your LinkedIn profile or getting connections, but we want those connections to in turn become opportunities. So what we'll cover today will be a lot of how you can craft a compelling LinkedIn profile, just so that we can ensure your profile is as attractive as possible. We'll also get to talk about how you can expand your network. So basically making friends and connections on LinkedIn. We'll also get to talk about how you can leverage some of the different features that LinkedIn has, because I'm sure some of us have not interacted with everything. Then finally, we'll talk about how you can elevate your professional brand as well. So all that is summarized at some point here. So I narrowed it down into just a few steps, which is what we have in the outline. So how you build an effective profile, things around content and engagement, importance of networking and thought leadership, as well as measurement and etiquette. So at any point, if you have any questions, if it's completely burning, feel free to put it on the chat and then we'll get to it as we do the Q&A session, which we'll have towards the end. So we have until 8 p.m. So I plan to give it my best so that we have quite a bit of time for interaction. So in case you just joined in, don't worry, you're not late. We are just starting off. So to start us off, I think I'd love us to have a bit of a conversation. So I'll stop sharing my screen for a little bit, just for us to get to talk a little bit. So I'd love for us to share if you're on LinkedIn, what's the one thing you love about LinkedIn? And one area you hope to improve when it comes to building your personal brand on that platform. So maybe we can hear from Marianne and then Model, then Wairimo. What's the one thing you love about LinkedIn if you're on it? And what are you hoping to improve when it comes to building your personal brand on that platform?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Marianne. So something that I love about LinkedIn is the professionalism in it and the fact that I can get to connect with like a CEO from a big company who maybe I would ideally not connect with in person. So what I'm hoping to learn is I changed from looking for work to, like employment to consultancy. So I would want to hear how I can be able to set up my page in a way that I can now get clients from there instead of maybe future employers. And also I get a lot of searches. I find I have appeared in like 80 searches, but it never transpires to anything. So I'd want to know how to leverage on that. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Marianne. Well, maybe we can hear from you. What do you love about LinkedIn? And one area you hope to improve on when it comes to building your brand there? Sorry, Mudel, your audio sounds like you're so far. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, could you put your mic a little bit closer to you so that we can hear you well?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Yes. So as I was saying, I think that the thing that I like about LinkedIn is the fact that I can be able to connect with people from different career avenues, and I can be able to learn because I think one thing I've learned about LinkedIn with the knowledge that I've gathered is just sharing information based on career. Like if you're into social media, people share information about that and content creation and all that. And then you asked another.
How do you hope to improve your brand building on the platform?
I think consistency. That's the thing.
Please move your mic again. Sorry.
Consistent posting.
There, we can now hear you. Sorry, just repeat what you've said.
Consistent posting on the
Nice.
platform.
Nice. Thank you for that. Fantastic. Maybe we can hear from Wairimo. Then finally, Doris, what do you love about LinkedIn and what do you hope to improve on when it comes to your brand building there? Wairimo, if you can hear us, please unmute. If not, I think we can go to Doris. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, so my name is Melanie, and thank you, Melanie. I'm happy to be here. What I love about LinkedIn is the professionalism and even the kind of posts that I read from other people and the organizations out there. You can see that these are people that are serious and they're looking for serious connections. Okay. Now, what I want to learn, or my greatest desire, is to understand how it works. I posted like about 3 or so times, but there's no much response. I didn't understand why. So I would love to set up so that I can connect with the clients, because I am a personal and a business consultant, and I deal with both children and adults. So I don't know how to incorporate both so that I don't confuse my potential clients. Do I stick to one and leave the other one out, or do I include everything? Because I see people posting different things that they do, and you see the reactions. They have positive feedbacks. You find people commenting, people responding like, I'll get in touch. So I don't know how to go about that. So it's been a bit frustrating. So I'll be happy to just get to understand how to work around it and actually connect with real business and get results. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for sharing. Finally, Doris.
Hi, my name is Doris. So what I know much about LinkedIn, and I like it because of the professionalism and the connections. So I'm looking forward to learn more about connecting with the right people. I am a new virtual assistant, so I am hoping to get clients from the app.
Nice, thanks for that. So I'm so glad to hear that we're almost all having similar experiences. I hope we've somehow felt like that. So it's encouraging, one, to know you're not alone. But two, I guess on my side, it's also encouraging to know that I prepared well. So we'll go through what I have for you. I am assured that everything you've mentioned so far will be answered. So we'll sort of have a mini review towards the end, just to get, to have an idea of what that looks like. So I know for a number of people who are on LinkedIn, it always looks like an obstacle, a complicated platform where everybody looks perfect, as if nothing could go wrong in their life. Everything is going perfectly. They're always just celebrating their wins, which is what we have come to know LinkedIn for. I remember even for me, when I initially joined LinkedIn, then that's what it was made to look like everyone on this platform sort of has themselves together, and their careers are successful, their businesses are okay. But we look at both sides, and I'll use my personal experience of LinkedIn to just help you understand how it works, and also for you to see both of those sides that I'm talking about. But first things first, what I want to be very clear on before we start with is, whatever platform you go on, not just LinkedIn, it's very important for you to have a goal. And sometimes that goal could look like some of the things you said. I want to build more connections. I want to get more clients. It could look like different things for different people. So I'm happy that even as we've been conversing, there are a couple of people who've, you know, sort of put out goals for themselves in terms of what they want to achieve on LinkedIn. And I think the biggest value that you can get as either an employee or a business owner is being able to build your personal brand, because then you are able to find benefit not just in a job, but also when you get to be in business, you still get to see both sides of it all. So step one of this whole conversation is maximizing, or rather creating a compelling LinkedIn profile. Compelling could mean different things to different people. And at some point, I'll get to share my screen as we keep going. But I love conversations because there are higher chances you remember that. So compelling to Melanie could be completely different compared to what compelling is to, say, Doris. So that's a personal decision. What do you want your LinkedIn profile to look like, one? And then two, based on that, is what ideally should it look like for you to get the maximum amount of opportunities? I think that's the second thing you should, you know, think about when it comes to this conversation of compelling profile. And on LinkedIn, there are different sections that you can sort of use to ensure that you improve that profile. So it's not just about what we know or how we know LinkedIn in terms of being your digital CV, but there are extra features that have been added over the years to boost that up and to ensure that you have, you know, the best result possible. So I'll take you through some of those as we go through the presentation. But in addition to that, part of this could be both in the form of wording, so how you're communicating yourself, but also in the form of visuals. So what are people seeing through the visual communication that is on your profile? So what do I mean by that? When someone comes to your LinkedIn profile for the very first time, they will land on a page that probably has your picture first. In addition to this picture that is on your profile, you'll have a headline or a bio. And in addition to that bio, you'll also, you know, sort of get to have, what do we call it? You get to have an about section that's a little bit more detailed than the shorter bio. Previously, those three sections were enough, you know, enough for someone to feel like, you know, should they reach out to you to converse more, or, you know, is that sort of enough information? So it's very critical for you to know what should those two sections, or rather three sections, look like. So I'll share my screen a bit just for you to see that. I took some screenshots, but maybe I can do the demo from the platform itself just to make life easy. So first things first, this is my LinkedIn profile, which we have agreed we will use for demos for this session. So the first thing that happens is when someone logs in, this is what they see. So for me, my profile picture, of course, is a picture of me looking professional. And then I have the background, which is my cover photo, which I have as the logo of my company. And then this is the short bio section I was telling you about. We call it the headline on LinkedIn, where I've put different aspects or skills, you know, that I'm sort of strong in. So those come there. And then we have now next. Yeah, so this is the initial section I was talking about, the picture, the cover, and the headline. And then now below that, we have an about section where I can talk more in detail about myself. Why is this important? This is your first impression. And this first impression needs to be extremely clear for people to be able to want to reach out to you. Remember, you will not get interaction on your posts without making connections with people. It will be almost like you have a page with no followers. So the first thing you have to think about is, when my followers come, what do I want? How do I want them to see me for the first time when they join in? So you need to ensure that that picture is in a way that you would like to be seen, you know. In addition to that, you need to make sure what you're saying is clear, so that if someone is interested, they can actually reach out to you. So speaking of which, I'll just go back to my image. I'll play a video for you at some point to just show you the value of having a good picture like this one of mine. So it will show you the value of having a good picture, the value of having a good headline, and the value of having a good about section. But before we go to that video, other than first impressions, this headline section, why do I have so many other things instead of having something like founder and CEO only? The reason why I have that is because on LinkedIn works based on search. So today, if a recruiter was hiring for a specific role, they would come here on the LinkedIn search bar, search for it, and possibly bump into the profiles that have that. So if today we were hiring a marketing manager, we'll type that. If we were hiring a digital marketing expert, we'll type that. So for me, I've chosen things that when someone does a search, there are high chances that they'll find me. So let's say today they're looking for an AI prompt engineer. If they come on search and search for AI prompt engineer, on my right, or rather in the middle, you'll see jobs. So we have jobs here. But if I click on people at the top, it will now show me the different people who have AI prompt engineer somewhere on their profile. So for example, if I come here, I can see someone called Rupert, Nudin, Erin, then Melanie Hapisu appears at some point. So if something around artificial intelligence, prompt engineering was to be searched for, it's nice to know that I'm amongst the people on the first page. You can see here they're up to 100 pages. Of course, I have a benefit because then it's searching based on my location, Kenya. So of course, I may see myself on the first page. So you can imagine if I just had founder and CEO on my profile, and yet I have other skills or opportunities that could lead me to clients, I would miss out on it. So for example, since I updated this bio like this, initially I just had digital marketing expert, trainer, and founder and CEO. So about 3 weeks ago, I updated this. And believe it or not, I have now started getting opportunities for artificial intelligence training just from LinkedIn. People who do searches, they're looking for a trainer, they bump into this. I've also gotten opportunities to manage people's LinkedIn profile or to help them strategize, which is simply because of this being here. So this helps not only when it comes to people searching for your profile, but it also helps when it comes to me figuring out, are you someone I want to connect with? Maybe we have similar skills. Someone talked about that, wanting to connect with people in their industry. So you need to ask yourself questions like that. How is this going to lead me to attract my target audience? This headline section. In addition to that, I'll skip some parts, but I'll come back to them. Don't worry about that. We have an about section. Now, in the about section, I've talked a lot more. I've given an introduction to myself, the kind of experience I have in terms of years of experience. I've talked about some of the industries I've worked with, so from hair, beauty, virtual assistants, etc. I've also gone ahead to talk about each of those skills. So my digital marketing expert skills, my copywriting, just in summary. Then finally, I've closed off with some of the brands I've worked with. So I've mentioned things like Mercedes-Benz, Hotpoint, etc. And then now finally, I've finalized with my education. This is my version. For some people, they use this section to just talk about their accomplishments. But for me, I like it to be a summary so that after someone reads that, they don't even have to go through my experience or my certifications chini, because I've given them a good overview of what it is I do. So it's for you to decide. If someone was meeting you for the first time, they had 2-3 minutes to read about you. What is it you want them to see? For me, that's what this about section should be like, so that everything else is a bonus. This experience section is a bonus where I'll get to talk about each of my roles and what exactly it is I am doing. The education section will also be a bonus where I can give some more information. Same to the licenses and notifications. Any projects I've talked about will also be a bonus, as well as the skills. But one critical section of LinkedIn that many people ignore is the recommendation section. Think about it like testimonials. I personally have had the privilege to get testimonials from clients I'm working with or have worked with. I've also gotten testimonials from people who we were fellow employees in previous organizations I've worked at. And what that has done is it's helped build this, because sometimes when a client is looking, in my case now that I'm a business owner, these are some of the things that will help them understand, should they really give me the job in terms of will I connect well with their team, especially if it's a team project, or if it's like one-on-one client sort of work, am I going to deliver based on what people have said before? So it's very critical for you to get this. I make it a point when I work with a client, I connect with them on LinkedIn so that later, maybe depending on how much time it takes you to ask for reviews, you could ask for a review maybe after 2 months or 3 months, you'll be able to sort of hop on and come back here. So recommendations is a critical part of it. And the beauty about it is it still boosts your findability when it comes to people doing searches on a platform like LinkedIn. So far, we are still at first impression. You've seen there are lots of opportunity. A benefit that LinkedIn added is they added a section here called featured, where you can add different things. So you can add links. So for example, for me, I have a link to my company profile and to my personal portfolio. That means you can add a link to a post. Maybe there's a really nice post you did on LinkedIn or like another platform, and you'd want to link it for people to continue the conversation. You can put it here. You can add articles. You can put up what's it called, a newsletter here. The possibilities are endless. So for me, at the moment, I'm doing my master's program, and at some point I had part of my master's project here, and it helped me really get great insights from people who were reading it, because then they sort of became contributors to my project. So as a first impression, you've already seen you have quite a lot of opportunities to jump on. But in addition to that, sometimes when you come to your profile, LinkedIn may prompt you to change your profile to creator mode. Creator mode basically means that here I can get discovered based on the content I'm showing on my profile, and I get access to creator tools. So you'll notice maybe when you go on your LinkedIn and you look at mine, there are things you may not see. So as a creator, I get to have this section where it tells people the topics I talk about. So before you even follow me, you have an idea what my content could ideally look like. So I talk about marketing, digital marketing, consultancy, etc. In addition to that, I'm not sure if it's for both accounts now, but previously it was just for creator. I got to put a link on my profile where people could learn some more, a profile outside of LinkedIn. But in addition to that, just like an employee would, I have also put sections where I'm open to work, and I've specified the kind of work. So most of it is work to do with, I'll just open for you, advisory work, consultancy, specialist work, and team trainer. And I've even gone ahead to mention the locations I am open to work in and the type of work. So for me, part-time, because I'm running my business. So even if you're a business owner, make sure you still leverage on that. If you're an employee, if you've not done this, please do it so that when recruiters are searching on LinkedIn, they're able to find you based on the opportunities you're able to work on. I had someone else saying they would want to know how they can leverage LinkedIn to get clients. On this table LinkedIn, if you fill your profile in full, and this is only because I fill my profile in full, there's a section you can get where it will allow you to open, they call it a services page. Yeah, so from my profile, I'll just go back just in case you missed that. I have this section for providing services. So if I click on show details, it takes me to my services page where, as a freelancer, as a business owner, I'm able to list down the different services I provide. And I'm able to set prices, ask for reviews, etc. So this is a feature that people are still learning. But for me, for example, I did a summary page of how I help my clients. I talked about my location, which is Nairobi. And then I talked about the services that I offer, so that if someone searches for any of these services, they can bump into my profile. How has this benefited me? Once, actually, since I opened this page, I got a request from a client. So if you come here to, I think it's new requests, I have someone here called Gloria Langat who reached out. She had a team that needed to be trained in 2 weeks. Unfortunately, we didn't finish the conversation here. We put the conversation outside of LinkedIn. But assuming that we went through it all, I would submit my proposal here, and we'd go to the next stage where I'd now be able to see the projects I'm handling. And finally, after we work together, I could ask for a review, which would come to this section of review status. So LinkedIn has done so much work to ensure that we are as comfortable as possible when it comes to utilizing all these features on the profile. I can see Miriam in the chat saying, interesting, she's never noticed some of these things. Me, I click on all platforms. I do my best to click on every button to ensure that I know what's there. So even right now, if I came here and clicked on the more button, you can download your LinkedIn profile as a PDF. So that becomes your CV. That's something that a few people may not know. If I come here to add profile section, I still have sections that have not probably improved. So if I click on here, like recommended, it tells me I can add more items to my featured section where I had the documents. I can add more licenses and certifications. I can add projects. I can add courses. I can add recommendations. In addition to that, it gives me an opportunity to even add volunteer experience. So you see, for me, my profile may look like it's fully done, but it actually is not. So you have quite a lot of opportunities to work on it. So I'm going to challenge you. After this section, come to your LinkedIn profile, this edit button at the top here. Please click on it and fill as much as possible. Of course, there's the basic info, but we've talked about critical parts like the headline. Ensure that you have as many skills or services that you offer listed there so that when someone does a search, they can bump into you. And in addition to that, the about section. Make sure you fill that as much as possible. But that's what I would say is the first step when it comes to improving your LinkedIn. So I'll pause for a bit, open the floor for some questions so that we can have some engagement, and then I can proceed. So anyone with a question, anyone with a nice bulb discovery that they've just made that they think they are going to implement as soon as this call is done?
Okay, Melanie, let me comment. Well, I guess I didn't know what I was doing. I was just getting in because other people are there and you get to hear, oh, that's where serious business is,
Yes.
comparing to maybe Facebook or WhatsApp and all that, yeah? So I've realized that with what you have shared already, I could pinpoint, mistakes that I need to rectify. But let me ask a question, because my business is not a product based, but rather it's a service based. Yeah. When you're filling in your now what you do, I saw that you can actually include as many things as you do.
Yes.
So that doesn't confuse, or does it come out like you're doing too much? Are you sure you are able to? I think that's one of the things that maybe I've been questioning myself. Maybe I was doing wrong, or I can include as many things that I'm able to do, the skills and all that.
Nice. I like that question. And I'll take it from an approach of today, where Remo, assume you were hiring Melanie for work. If I had, my job, I had a business, and then I had another side hustle, what would come to your mind? What would you think of me before you hire me?
You have a side hustle, and you've indicated there, so it's something open, correct?
Yes.
Well, I would maybe ask myself, would you have the time to serve me if you have your side hustle? And maybe again, I would think of, if you have you are already into doing something else on the side, then maybe you must be confident that you give the best and you are experienced. I would maybe look at it from both ways.
Okay. Nice. I like that you said that, because then it gives you an opportunity to sort of put it in both ways. So from that demo I've just done, you've seen LinkedIn has the experience section for work. They have a volunteer section. They have a project section. So you'll find sometimes most freelancers will put their freelance work on projects. Then the actual full-time work they do, they'll put it on the experience section, simply because the project part, won't really give too much information in terms of dates, your responsibilities, etc. So it's all about finding the balance, but it's usually better if the skills you put up a headline are related to each other. So you notice for me, I have LinkedIn, I have AI, I have digital marketing. which all in line fall into this big umbrella of mine of digital marketing. So if I was doing something else, then the question would be, how do I actually incorporate that? And I've seen people do that. I've seen people who will say, they are digital marketing expert, but they are also event planner. So the trick is to ensure that when you now get that opportunity to speak to someone, say over a meeting or an interview, you're able to now bring out the strong part in you of there's this balance. For you, including those skills was more for findability. You get?
Okay.
Yeah. So, and the beauty about it is when we talk about content in a few minutes, you realize that if you don't want to put it out there on your headline, you can also put it out on your content, on your posts. So for example, for me on my LinkedIn, I don't just have digital marketing posts. For example, at the moment, I've been on a reading spree the past few months. So I'm posting a lot of lessons I'm learning from books. I'm also posting a lot of lessons I'm learning from movies. So it doesn't necessarily have to mean because I'm a digital marketer, I just have to talk about digital marketing alone. At some point, I was doing a lot of volunteer work. So I used to talk about how we visit children's homes and give back and all that. At some point, I was doing events. So I would actually get to post about that. And I don't think I got a negative sort of response out of all this.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. So I can see a few comments in the chat. I can see Marianne saying she'll set up her service page and say she's open to work. She thought it's only for those looking for employment. So now you have the trick. Just be clever about what kind of work you're putting out. And I can assure you it will bring opportunities. I think ever since I put that, lots of training opportunities for me, especially for corporate, have come from LinkedIn people reaching out. I can see Mudel saying, I will add more information about my service. Good job. So I love to hear all this. So let's keep building. We've talked about the profile, we've made it compelling. We've talked about how we can attract, people we want to be our target audience, whether it's recruiters who are doing searches or whether it's potential business owners who want to connect with us. But sometimes it's not just about sitting down and waiting for them to connect. Sometimes you have to do the work on your own. So what does doing the work on your own involve? I will show you an example again, just based on my profile. So if I was looking to connect with fellow founders and CEOs, all I have to do is come to my search button at the top here and search for founders. So let's say founder and CEO. It will give me a search of different people. So I'll see a list of different, sort of people who I can connect with. It's my work to go through that list and figure out who I want to connect with. For me, this has been so good, especially when it comes to sort of pitching. So what I'll do is go to each of these companies. So let's say CEO of KD Botanics, I'll go read about KD Botanics. If there's something of interest to me, I'll hit connect here and it will ask me to add a note. I'll do it for demo purposes now. So it asks me to add a note. So I can decide to tell the CEO, hello, my name is Melanie. It would be great to connect with you. I've read a bit about your business and I've seen areas of collaboration. Let's connect. So it will, when I type that and finish and hit send, it will go not only as a friend request, but it will also have a message on it. Do you have to add a message on it? No. You can see when I hit connect, it automatically brought this send button. So I can just hit send and it doesn't have to send with a note. But what a note tells me on LinkedIn is that you're intentional about who you're connecting with, and you're just not hitting connect for everyone. So you could decide to do that in different ways. So for me, most of my connections are either founders and CEOs. In addition to that, I have quite a bit of marketing managers because those are the people who help me either get work in agencies or take my trainings to improve their skills. So I can decide to search for marketing managers. Yet again, it will give me a list. So first it may start with jobs, but there's a filter up here. I just click people. So if I click people, it gives me a list. If I want, I could even filter based on location. So now because I'm in Kenya, it may prioritize Kenyan accounts. But if I want, maybe I'm looking to go to another country, I could put the country I want to go to. So like now I have Kenya here, but if I like, I guess we can also type something like Nigeria and select and show results, and it will bring marketing managers in Nigeria. So that's how you can build meaningful connections with people. And what I'll tell you about services, remember on my account, there were services listed. You can see for this first lady, Dolapo, she has services listed. So in as much as someone is searching for marketing manager, they get to know what other services she could provide if they were looking to, work with her, probably somewhere on the side. So be very intentional about the connections you make so that when you go through your feed or when you go to the posts on your homepage, you have posts you can engage with. LinkedIn is not just about putting your profile and letting it sit there. At some point, you have to engage. And the first step to engagement is that one of connections. The next step to engagement is, for me personally as Melanie, on my LinkedIn, I log in every day in the morning and before I sleep for at least 15 minutes. And I go through my homepage and see the different posts that people are putting out. So for example, right now, I go to my LinkedIn profile and go to my homepage. This is my homepage. So you'll notice I have this post from Kenya Business Communities, which is a group I'm in. So LinkedIn has groups. We'll talk about that in a bit. So if I scroll through, I'll get to see different posts. Some are advertisements. You'll see them with the word promoted. Some are from people I've connected with. So I make it a point to scroll down like this for 15 minutes. The ones that I feel I have something to contribute or say, I actually comment on them. Why is it important to have that form of engagement on LinkedIn? Because on LinkedIn, when you drop a comment or a share, someone will see your comment, your name, your picture, plus a summary of your headline. Remember that headline we said is important for people to know? So you can imagine everywhere you comment or post, people will see this headline. So that's a free marketing opportunity for you just by commenting. Do you have to comment on every post? No, only the ones that are relevant and you feel you have something to say. I know sometimes there's that fear of, oh my God, I'm not going to comment. I'm not sure I know the right thing to say. But sometimes I say, the same way you have conversations with your friends, someone will say one thing and you want to contribute to it. If you feel that urge when you're scrolling through your LinkedIn feed, why not? Because these comments that you put in could lead to someone feeling like, oh, okay, that was something nice that Melanie said. Maybe let me connect with her. Or maybe let's have this conversation much deeper on the side. So that's one way to engage on LinkedIn. But other than just looking and commenting on people's posts, you also should post on your profile. What can you post? Lots of things. For me, I remember when I started, I would only post about my employment experiences. So maybe I attended an event today to represent my company. I would post about it. But now as a business owner, I have a lot more. So in addition to, let's say, events I speak at or big news for the company, I also get to talk about things to do with digital marketing. So advice for business owners. Very soon, I'm going to try to shake the LinkedIn ground a bit, and I'm going to talk about the other side of business. Every time I scroll on my feed, it always looks like everyone is doing so well in employment or their business. No one's business is struggling. Everything is just perfect. So I want to shock my audience a little bit and talk about the bad side of business. So in case you want to connect with me, I'll put my link on the chat. I have been postponing to do that kind of posting, but I will. Why? Because I want to see what my audience will do to react to it. So as a business owner, ask yourself, what goal do I have for LinkedIn? And how can I achieve that goal, both in terms of content and in terms of connections? So for me, my goal is to connect with other business owners. So I need to be able to be vulnerable to show them that there are good times in business for me as well, but there are also bad times. For me, I also would like to get clients. And one of the questions I'm asking myself is, if I expose my business that much, is it going to affect the clients I'm going to get? But those are questions I'll answer later ahead. So we've talked about, it's not just about sending friend requests, it's also about engaging. It's also about putting out your own content, because on LinkedIn, we are trying to position Melanie, Vicky, Doris, all as thought leaders. So we want people to be able to want to connect with you, or people to see your expertise other than just through your profile, to be able to engage with you. So it's an engaging platform. It's not just a digital CV that should be sitting there. I know many people think about it like that. So feel free to think of it in different ways. Like I've mentioned, recently I've been posting about books and movies, but I also post about, if I'm talking at an event tomorrow, I'll put up a poster on it. Like after today's webinar, possibly in the course of the week, I'll do a LinkedIn summary on maybe some of the key highlights, that came to me even as I was training you, because even me, and as much as I'm delivering knowledge to you, I'm also learning a few things, on my own. So think of it like that, because in the end, the more engagement you have on LinkedIn, the better chances you have to reaching those opportunities, whether it's for employment, whether it's for business. And why is that? Because LinkedIn allows you to see reports. So it's not just about I posted and that's it. And someone talked about how they've been seeing on their profile how they're appearing in so many searches. That's an example of a report. I know under each of your LinkedIn posts, I'm not sure if it's just for creator mode, but I think it's for all accounts. You're also able to see little things such as how many people saw your post in terms of impression, and you can break down that report in a bit, which is what we'll be analyzing for the next few minutes before we wind up. So it's not just about let me put and wait and see how it goes, but it's all about I'm putting things, I'm seeing how they're performing. How do I actually get to analyze and see whether it's working or not? So I'll share my screen again for a demo. In case there are questions, please put them in the chat. We will come to them in a few minutes. But the first report I get to see is how many followers or connections I have. So on LinkedIn, by default, everyone will show more than 500 connections, but the follower side is where the count keeps moving. So for me, when I joined LinkedIn, of course, I was at 0. By the time I left employment in 2019, January, I had 500 followers. And how many years are those? 3-4 years later, I have 2,000 followers. It's taken work to grow that. I have to give people a reason to follow. I have to give people a reason to connect. So think of yourself like that. When people are connecting with you, when people are engaging with your post, why is it that they are doing that? If I come to my posts, each of your posts, like I mentioned, you get to see some form of report under it. Basic things like likes, comments, shares. But you also get to see this analytics button here, view analytics. So allow me to go to a really good performing post so that you can get to see more detailed insights. So like this one, I'll give a disclaimer, posts that have a human image to them tend to perform better. So like for me, when I use my own picture, the posts perform really, really well. So like this post was seen by 1,500 people. If I click on view analytics, I can get to analyze that report further. So for me, impressions are good. It's nice to know that many people are seeing my post. Reactions don't necessarily help me. Comments, it depends on what they're saying. Reposts could be helpful depending on if I'm trying to pass a message to many more people. But the most critical part is this one here. So first things first, if I click on this arrow here on company size, I can filter my reports based on different things. So if I'd like to know the people who viewed this post, what are their job titles? I can come click on job titles and I'll be able to see. So majority of my following, like I told you, is founders and CEOs. So you can see those are the first 2 people who've seen my posts, and co-founders as well. Then we have managing directors and accountants. So what can this help me with? To know how to better produce content to be able to connect or relate better to these people. It could also help me to know which other people do I need to connect with. So like right now, I've come to a realization that I never search for co-founders when I'm connecting with people, but maybe I need to do that. It could be a good opportunity to make new business connections. So think about it like that. In addition to job titles, I'm also able to filter by location. This has been perfect for me, especially when it comes to figuring out where interest is. At some point when I was posting on my LinkedIn, I noticed a lot of interest in my posts from South Africa, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. And how did I start entering those markets? I started with free webinars because I noticed these people were interacting with my posts. I started doing free digital marketing webinars, and that led to me actually getting a ground to now pitch paid work to people in those areas. So location, again, is another critical part about it. But the final one is industries, actually the second last one, industries. So I'm able to tell the different industries that are interacting with my content. Do I create for them? Do I target them? So at some point when I was doing a lot of digital marketing content, most of the interaction would be people in the e-commerce space. and people with mobile apps. So that helped me figure out for my company, DigiPath, are those the people we should target, because those are the low-hanging fruits that were sort of there for me. But finally, and this is closely related to the person who was asking about searches, you find yourself in searches, you can see the companies that the people who have viewed your profile who work for. So most people on this post who are from Jumia, interesting e-commerce, others from Deloitte, others from Strathmore, others from Mtiba, others from Microsoft. So what I would do for myself at the end of the month, I'd review all the posts I've done, list down these companies, and reach out to the marketing managers for these companies if I wanted an opportunity to work with them. So those reports you're getting for searches, think of what can you do with them. You may not know who searched for you, but if you're a business owner, for example, looking for opportunities in Jumia, Kenya, what stops you from coming to search for something like marketing manager, Jumia, Kenya? And it will give you a list. So like here, it shows you this lady was, in the past, she was a key account manager at Jumia Travel. If I keep searching, here, there must be something to do with Jumia in their profiles. So it's all about clicking on their profile and seeing what else is there. So for some people, you may see it without necessarily opening the full profile. For some, you may not necessarily see it in too much detail. So like if we keep scrolling again, you may find that these people work at Jumia. So like here, talent acquisition assistant at Jumia Kenya. This is the chief marketing officer, Uganda, Jumia Group. So sometimes you need to take an extra step. You're seeing those reports, but what can you actually do about it? Those ones are the post reports. The reports that someone else mentioned about being found in searches are usually appear on my network between home and jobs. If I click on my network, I hope it's there. Let's check. Okay, so it's not my network. My network, I get to connect with people. So I guess, let's see where we'll find it. Usually you get a notification, I think every week, for you appeared in, X number of searches, or so-and-so has viewed your profile. First, I'll start with the profile one. So when people view your profile, personally, I don't just let it go. So I try to see, what does this person do? Are there any opportunities for collaboration or conversation? Then I sort of move on from there. So if I click on like this one for see who's viewed your profile, let's give my computer a minute, it's thinking. I'll just go back. But when you click on see my profile, of course, it will show you the different people who viewed your profile. If you're on premium, you get to see the full list. So premium LinkedIn, you get to pay for it a certain amount and you get to see. So like now you can see some people are hidden. So it will tell me 3 people working in recruitment industry, Equity Bank, Kenya Airways. I can't tell them. But every time I get a notification, I try to come because I know I'm not on premium now. I was on premium before, but I've taken a little bit of a break. We'll talk about premium in a bit, but you can see, I can see some of the people who viewed. So like now, for example, this Seranjoki, we are connected, we are friends on LinkedIn. When she looked at my profile the day before yesterday, I knew she was looking for something. Of course, I did not know what she was looking for. So what I quickly did was reached out to her to find out how she's doing. Of course, because we are connected, wishing her a happy new month, and that was it. Believe it or not, Sarah reached out today to inquire about training for her team. So someone coming to your profile is not always a mistake. So try look into it, more than that. Someone else here called Kevin also looked at my profile. I have not reached out to him yet because I've seen him in the same digital marketing space, but something that has been interesting for me is I've seen he's a certified blueprint trainer, and this is something I would want to also become. So of course, I'll reach out to him to find out how that was, what I can do to become one. So always analyze the people who view your profile. What sort of value can you give each other? And LinkedIn is about that. It's not just about what value can Melanie get, but what value can you sort of exchange? In addition to that, we have a section where you can tell the people who've searched for you, like the way we're doing searches at the top there. So you're able to tell which companies did you appear in their searches. So I hope we'll get a notification like that. I have a couple of notifications on LinkedIn, but I hope we'll bump into one. So what it basically does, it lists down different organizations where your searchers came from. So maybe people from Safaricom are the ones who mostly searched for you this week. You may not know exactly who, but that's a good sign. So like here I have, you appeared in 22 searches this week. If I click on that, I get to see. So number one, many people who found me through the word specialist, because I think I have LinkedIn specialist on my profile. Other people who found me search for engineer. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. But my searchers were mostly from Strathmore University, who I do a lot of work with, Space for Giants, who is a new client I have just signed on, thanks to LinkedIn. So guys, I'm not telling you things that don't work. It takes a little bit of patience, but it works. So Space for Giants is another organization that my searchers have worked in. There's been this Equivo. I have no idea who they are, but I guess I'll read into it. Someone from Ipsos. I don't know what they were looking for. Someone from World Bank. I don't know what they're looking for, but that's a sign. So I'm even able to know these people who searched, what were their titles. So some people are photographers, salespeople, etc. So guys, there are lots of reports that you can make the best out of. It's all about trying to figure out, do you actually know how to use LinkedIn or you don't? And one thing I'll repeat that I had already mentioned is these buttons are all here to be clicked. Click on them, discover what's there, see how to improve whatever it is you have. Someone looked for me the other day and they were telling me, oh, how do I find remote jobs on LinkedIn? There's a job section here, but we all assume it's for people who are looking for full-time employment. But it's not. You can be a business owner looking for opportunities to work with clients. Please come do your search here. You'll be very surprised with some of the things you may get. Sometimes it even takes confidence. I could find, let's say, a job. Like I've been looking for a lot of copywriting work for the agency. I could search for copywriting like this. So maybe I come and search for copywriting, location Kenya, and then date posted. Maybe I look for ads that have been posted in the past month. Why do I do past month? Because sometimes people have been recruiting, and they've not gotten someone. So sometimes I come in to help to sit in panels to help to interview, or sometimes it ends up that they don't need an individual, they actually need an agency. Of course, not to take any work from anyone, but that's just one suggestion. I could be looking for remote copywriting jobs in case you're a freelancer on this call. I just search for copywriting. I come and put the location I'd like. So maybe I'm looking for copywriting jobs in the US. I type in United States. It shows me the jobs. I can come and choose, is it an on-site job, hybrid or remote? I choose remote here and allow it to show results. You could even filter based on experience level, based on the kind of job you're looking for. Is it full-time, part-time, volunteer, internship? And if you like, if you're lazy, like most of us are, there's a button here called Easy Apply. You can click on it. So Easy Apply basically allows you to apply just by clicking on this button. You'll be asked very few questions. But for the jobs that don't have Easy Apply, you'll be taken to our website like Brighter Monday. You'll fill a long form, add your profile. I know there are people who don't like that. So always filter by Easy Apply. That will really, really come in handy for you. So that would help, especially if you're looking for freelance, sort of gigs. If I'm looking for maybe more of services, I could come and search for digital marketing, for example. And on this list, you can see there's a filter for services. So maybe you're looking for either people who provide the service or people who are looking for the service. So if I click on services, it will first show me the people who provide the services. But sometimes if you go to posts, you could find someone who has posted that they're looking for a digital marketer or a digital marketing agency. You see, like this is a post from Strathmore. They're looking for a brand executive. So I have taught you different ways to maximize LinkedIn to your benefit. If you move to the premium side, it's not just about seeing who's viewed your profile and all that, but you also get the benefit of taking LinkedIn courses, which is the final thing I'll talk about. If you click here on for business, I think, yes, there's a section called LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn has so many courses. Of course, as your business grows, you may need the rest. There's LinkedIn for HR people to get talent insights, to find leads, to be able to post jobs. There are different LinkedIn features. But for learning, it's basically courses that you take on LinkedIn. So when you're on premium, you get them for free. They're in the package. Courses on anything. It doesn't have to be on digital marketing if you're a digital marketer. So for me, I've taken like a leadership one. I have AI ones. It's all up to you. And the beauty about it is you get a certification in the end. So if you pay for premium for 1 month, please, to Some, make sure you do as many courses as possible, to be able to get the best sort of value from it. So in case you don't have certifications and you've been wondering, hey, where do I start from? You can always do that. I'm not sure of the pricing for premium right now, but I know a lot of times they have discounts. So that's what I'm waiting for to reactivate my account. I'm waiting for a discount because for me, I pay yearly. I don't pay monthly. But if you like, you can also sort of do a monthly payment. But in the end, please remember that LinkedIn is a professional platform. So as much as possible, be professional, be authentic, make sure you align with the values you have for your business brand or personal brand, but be able to handle challenges. Of course, you may get I know people who use LinkedIn for dating, so you'll find weird DMs, probably mostly for ladies. You could also find people who don't agree with your point of view. That's okay. It's just in the normal world, the way someone will not agree with your point of view. Please take it as lightly as possible. And in the end, you are going to have so much fun on LinkedIn. So I hope this has shed quite a lot of light. I can see Jamal in the chat saying these are really great insights into using LinkedIn deeper. Asante sana, you are most welcome. Maybe to wrap it up, I'll do a round of comments in one word, not one sentence, one word. But I know some people may itch to say sentences, so it's okay. I'll allow it. So maybe we'll start with Mudel. In one word, how was this webinar experience for you? If you like to use a sentence to say it, that's also okay. But we'll start with Mudel, then we'll go to Wairimo, then Jamal. Mudel, maybe you've forgotten to unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first. I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, thanks. Melanie, that was really great. There's some things that I've actually learned through the whole webinar, and there, there are really things that definitely need some improvement, especially in continuing to polish how my LinkedIn looks like. So also how you've talked about. Okay, I know I'm saying too much, but it's just been eye-opening. So thank you.
No problem. No problem. It's okay. Great. Thank you so much for that, Jamal. Wairimo, and then we can have Samuel, then Cynthia.
Okay, thank you so much, Melanie. I guess for me, it's not just an eye opener, but being exposed to something that you have been assuming that you know, but you don't want to ask because you're expected to be knowing. But the truth of the matter is, some of these things, as you're saying, you have to read and keep learning, and of course, engage people like you so that you can also see how to help. Like, I would really like to maybe engage you later, then we see how we can improve on mine, and see how far we can go in matters connecting with people who are looking for my services or for my business, and of course connecting with others and all that. I would like to put that into practice for real.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. I've shared my contacts in the chat just in case someone would like to reach out after. Please WhatsApp me first, and then we can continue the conversation from there. So thank you, Wairimo, Samuel, then Cynthia, then finally Doris. Maybe Mudeo, if your mic will be okay, you can speak last.
Okay, hello everyone.
Hi.
So I've also learned a lot, especially the part of profile. I think I really need to go and review my profile, and also the how to do searches. For example, the way you have showed us how you search specifically using founders and CEO. So yeah, we have shared a lot of insights. Yeah, and I'm really grateful. And thank you, Melanie.
Most welcome. Thank you as well. I can see Doris in the chat saying, wow, I have learned a lot. I will put insights into practice. Thank you, Doris. Cynthia, anything to add on or any comments from your side before we hear from Mudel? All right. Anything from Mudeo, if your mic is back?
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I think one thing is connecting with people. I just connect with people anyhow without, that connecting, like getting to know someone and just saying happy new month. Those small things. I think
Yeah.
those are the small things. And also being curious, as you said, being curious to know the buttons, everything, and just getting to learn more. And just not be, static, just being a static person, but just being active as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all your input. Once again, my number is on the chat, so feel free to grab it before we end the call. I've also had a really, really wonderful time. Thank you so much for engaging with me and for contributing, as well as for the questions. So I hope you had a wonderful time. Maybe the final thing I'll do, I think we're all on the group. I'll share a video on the chat and I'll also share it on the WhatsApp group on how you can make a great LinkedIn just from someone I like following on YouTube. So feel free to, have a look at it. You learn a few more wonderful things that will blow your mind. So all the best, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Apologies for extending by 7 minutes.